Okay, Toman, I do have an issue with fader bank 1, which is channel 1 through 8. They're all doing the same thing. So it looks like either the ribbon cable behind this fader bank is disconnected or loose or something like that. That's my suspicion. But basically what's happening is the faders are being bypassed, almost like it's a pre-fader. So it's bypassing this entire bank no matter where these faders are located. So I've just got a signal coming in directly from the Mac. Now it happens with channels as well, so even if I put a mic into any of these channels 1 through 8, it bypasses the faders, so it doesn't matter what position the faders are, I'm basically getting max volume out of it. So I'll give you an example. So at the moment all the faders are completely down. I've got music coming in through channel 1 and 2. If I just touch, so that is literally max. If I go up any higher, it's way too loud. So the input signals are max, even though my pre-gain is completely down at -20. Yeah, so effectively what's happening is mid-show, it doesn't always work, or it doesn't always happen. So in some cases the faders might be working perfectly fine, and then out of the blue suddenly, bang, I get a huge volume increase through all 8 channels, or whichever ones are working, and it could ultimately break my speakers, because it's well above unity gain that the signal's coming out. Even if my gain pots, like obviously if my gain pots are set for a drum kit, we'll say, they are obviously really loud, but as soon as literally that fader bank fails, then it bypasses everything of that fader bank, so I'm getting full whack coming from my pre-gains. So effectively there's definitely a problem with either the fader bank itself. I don't think it's a software error, because if I go into system and we go right down, I have just updated the firmware, so I'm currently running the latest firmware on the console. I'm also running the latest firmware on UC Surface, as well as universal control and capture. So I don't think it's a software error. I've also looked at the software, and I can show you that if I go into universal control, okay, so universal control, and if you can see here, if I press fader locate, sorry, let me just focus on that for you, and I bring all the faders down. Now, obviously, this is what's happening. So the software is picking up that the faders are fully open, and fader locate is remembering that they're fully open. Okay. So you can see there, all the faders are recalled fully open. If I press locate again, okay. Now, if I move fader 1 and 2, look what happens on, yeah, it just jumps full out. Full whack. So the system's picking up, and doesn't matter now where I put those faders, the faders in the software aren't coming down. Now this happens with or without the software connected, so there's definitely an issue. But any other channel, it will pick up exactly where the faders are. Okay, however, on channel 1 and 2 now you can see full closed, but nothing is actually happening in software. So the software isn't picking up my movements on the fader. If I bring them back down, bring the faders up, and they shoot straight up all the way to the top. They will not come back down. And the thing is, it's not picking up any movements between minimum and maximum. So I'll just put up the faders to half, and they jump all the way to the top. And that's the signal that's coming out of my main FX bus now, is a full whack signal. But if I drop my signal down to nothing here, sorry, I'm just doing it while looking at the phone. So channel 1, channel 2, okay. Yeah, it just jumps back up. So it's bypassing that fader altogether. Oops, it'll go up now in a second. Okay, that's fine. But now if I open my master, it's bypassing even the software. So that signal's going straight to the monitor section. So it's bypassing my faders. It's not bypassing the mutes. The other problem I just noticed there is if I unmute channel 1, nothing happens. Unmute channel 2. Okay, wait a second. Okay, so that's fine there. So the mute functionality works on both channels. That's fine. So it's after the mute section on this console, it bypasses the inputs on that fader bank. So, and the same thing happens on any of the faders up to 8. You'll see now if I move any of the faders. So 9 will pick up every movement and stop where I've got a stop put onto the desk. And it'll pick up everything in between. But now the first few faders are not all the way up, even though they are so in software, and they're only half on the desk. Okay, so there's definitely an issue with fader bank 1. It doesn't seem to be software orientated, and it doesn't happen all the time. It could happen mid-set or mid-show. It's happened on 2 big concerts with me. I need to get this resolved.